What's up, YouTube? This is Mike Jones. Yeah, I'm a little late coming with the next video, but forgive me for that. So anyway, where we left off was basically my turning point. And so my turning point happened when a friend of mine, told me about this movie, and it was available on Netflix. When I was at a wedding, and he was talking about, yeah, I saw this documentary about these two guys. I guess they started drinking only juice and stuff, and lost like a ton of weight and stuff. I was like, well, I could see how that works, but I mean that's pretty crazy. I don't think I could ever do anything like that. And I remember, one day Zalim and I were just bored when we just decided to look around on Netflix for something to watch. So, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead showed up on the list, and we were like, oh, hey, I think this is what, my friend was talking about. So, we just decided to watch it on a whim. And, it's going along, and I'm kind of interested, and then, about halfway through, everything sort of changes. You meet this guy, Phil, in the show, who's actually sort of, at the very last minute, cries out for help to Joe Cross. And Joe Cross had done his 60 days, and he looked pretty amazing. But this guy, Phil, he hits the switch. I think he hits the switch for anybody that watches that movie, right? It's a real true inspiration, a real showing of what's possible with this juice fasting. So basically, I saw how this guy, he's probably about 100 pounds more than me, but he went out and he could barely walk 5 minutes, like I could barely walk 5 minutes, and he did it. He did the juice fasting, and he went out and did activity every day. He went walking, and then he could walk further, then he could walk further, and then by the end of the thing, he was running. So I decided to do bike riding. And, in August, we started our juice fast for 60 days, drinking nothing but fruits and vegetable juices, and I tried literally every day to go out and ride my bike. I had to start incredibly slow. I was riding, well, at first we just did a test ride to see, let's see how riding goes, and we rode for about maybe 5 miles, and we felt pretty good, but we took a really long break. I think we sat down and probably hung out for an hour or two at a time, and just enjoyed the ride. So we started riding, for the purpose of trying to ride like in one sitting, and we were struggling just to get 5 miles done in a day. So it took some work up to get to the 5 mile mark without, first we would make it to 5 miles with 2 stops, and both stops we'd probably sit there for like half an hour or 20 minutes or something like that. And then it eventually got to where we were able to do 10 miles with, 2 really long stops. And then it eventually got to where I could do the entire 10-mile loop around the river in my neighborhood, without stopping. And then it got to be where I was able to ride a couple loops around the river, so like 20 miles, 30 miles, without stopping. Now I could probably ride around that river almost indefinitely. I can do 5 loops around the river without ever stopping once, and that's 50 miles. So, it made great strides. In that first 60 days, I managed to lose 47 pounds. We definitely worked at it. It's definitely pretty, tough to get into. But once you get going, once you get past that first initial week, everything just sort of opens up, and the weight starts coming off, and you're doing more activity. Pretty soon you get to the point to where you actually feel good about doing activity, where like you're looking forward to riding 5 miles. You're looking forward to riding 10 miles. I missed the 10-mile ride, dude. I feel really bummed. I feel really bad that I didn't get to go out and do that. It was like my actual release from reality. It was my release from the worry that I was unemployed. What am I going to do? I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff when I was out on the bike, you know, while juicing. You know, it just made a world of difference. So that right there was my turning point, watching Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. If I could urge anything, maybe you should just give it a watch. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are super overweight and need to lose weight. You could just think that you're the healthiest person ever, but you'd be surprised, right? So, you know, I think anybody could benefit from, you know, even just a small couple days of just juicing, or even just replacing one meal a day with a juice. I mean, breakfast is usually the most hectic time of the day. Most people don't usually get breakfast all the time. If you just made a juice like the night before, you made it right before you go to work, and you just sip on that. You sip on it at work. It's an amazing thing. So anyway, that's what I have this week. I'll keep going, hopefully next week with some more story stuff about my journey up until now. Keep tuned in, because I'm talking about, you know, P90X and stuff that I'm doing right now every once in a while. And I'm giving up juicing tips sometimes too, so just keep in line for that. I got my blog now below, and you know, let's just keep it going. All right, thanks guys.